everyone, welcome to another Procreate tutorial. This is the drawing that we will be completing in today's video. This fun record player, very simple, very straightforward. We will just draw all of our black lines first, then we'll fill in all of our colors and then add the final details, the music notes, and the little background pieces. So super simple, beginner-friendly tutorial today. But if you are new here, I mainly post Procreate tutorials, so if that is something you are interested in, go ahead and subscribe. I also offer extra exclusive tutorials over on my Patreon, so if you want to check that out, I have it linked in the description below. But before we get started, the only thing that you will need to do is download the color palette. I have it linked in the description below. It's totally free to download. Just open up the file that downloads on your iPad, and it will automatically pop into Procreate so that you can use the same colors as you follow along with the video today. We only use one brush, the monoline brush. That's a standard brush, so nothing to download for that. And then I will post the canvas dimensions, color profile, and layers needed on the screen and in the description below so that you can use those to set up your canvas. So take a minute to get everything ready and then come back and we will get started. Okay, so this is the color palette that we will be working with today. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. We will first just set our background color to this slightly off-white color. So to do that, we will go to our layer menu, click on this background color layer, and select the first color on the first row of the color palette to set it to that color. Then we will just go ahead and make sure we're on layer 1. We'll grab our black color, and we are just going to start laying out the design of our record player. So we'll start with the line across the bottom, then we'll make all the black lines that make our design. Then we'll color it all in and add the few extra pieces in the background and like the music notes and stuff. So to make our baseline, that's what we're going to do first. We are going to turn on the 2D grid feature so that we can draw a perfectly straight horizontal line and not have to like hold it down in between, so that we can get like one kind of straight line with some breaks in it. So to do that, we'll go to our gear icon under Canvas, click to turn on the drawing guide, then click Edit Drawing Guide. We are already set to the 2D grid. You don't need to adjust the size or anything. Just make sure to turn on Assisted Drawing in the bottom right, and then go ahead and click Done. Then let's just go to our layer menu and make sure that this layer now says Assisted. It should. If it does not, click on it and turn on Drawing Assist. And again, on our black color, we're going to use our monoline brush for, I think, everything today. So the monoline brush under the calligraphy tab. I also think we keep our size the same at 20% the entire time. So let's just go ahead and get started. So to draw our baseline with assisted drawing turned on, as you can see when you start drawing, it'll just kind of keep you going in a horizontal or vertical line. So we're just going to make a horizontal line on one of these lines that we choose. So maybe like a third of the way from the bottom. So maybe I'll start like right here on this line. I am just going to start a little ways from the edge. Just pick a line to start on. And then I'll make like a small line, a little break, and then I'll just stay on that same exact spot as best I can. If you get off a little too far, just undo it and retry. I'll make like a longer piece, another kind of really short one, a longer one again, and maybe another short one kind of on the end here. So just try to get one good line all the way across with a few breaks in it like so. I might make this one a little shorter if I can, the break. So I might just start and draw and hope to kind of hit it right on that same spot at pretty good. Okay, that looks great. So that is going to be our base. So now that that's drawn, we are going to go ahead and center it. So we'll just click our arrow tool, make sure that snapping is turned on in the bottom left. And we're just going to drag it around until we hit our vertical yellow line that shows that we're directly in the center of the screen from left to right. And then go ahead and just kind of place it anywhere that you would like. Again, maybe like a quarter to a third of the way from the bottom of our canvas. If you want to extend it to make it longer or even shorter, just make sure you're on freeform. Zoom in quite a bit so that you can hit this middle blue dot, and then you can drag it left to right without increasing the entire size of it, which will make your lines thicker. We don't want them to be any thicker, so you can just drag it from left to right using this to make it longer or shorter, and then just make sure to recenter it if you do so on our vertical yellow line again. Okay, then that is it for our 2D grid. We're going to switch to Symmetry now to draw a lot of our other stuff. So let's just go to our gear icon. Under Canvas still, let's go to Edit the Drawing Guide again. Select Symmetry this time. Make sure you see a vertical line. If you do not, you might need to select vertical under your Symmetry options here, and then go ahead and click Done. Now let's go ahead and add a new layer on our layer menu, and this is where we will start drawing the pieces of our record player. So we'll just be on this new layer, click on it, and turn on Drawing Assist so that we can use Symmetry. So we're going to draw a lot of the pieces like on the same layer, but then when we start adding some other pieces that like make up the inside of the record player, we'll probably draw those separately so that we can do some erasing and stuff if we need to where they overlap. But for the most part here, we'll start with a lot of this on the same layer. So we're first going to start with like some little pegs on the bottom that just are sitting on our tabletop. So this line is essentially our tabletop. So I'll start a little ways from the center line here, kind of on the right side here, and I will start on the baseline. I'll draw a line up and to the left just a teeny bit, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen to get this like almost vertical angle. So this is vertical and one to the left of vertical. It's a pretty short little piece here. Then I'll go over from that a little bit to the right, do the same thing, make another line, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen until I get that same angle, like so, about the same height. If you need to, you can click the line button at the top to adjust it at all. I might make mine a little closer together. Okay, so that is kind of like the little legs that it sits on. So now I will start a ways outside of this, about where the top of these lines are, and I will draw towards the center, hold it down till it turns perfectly straight, and then touch my finger on the screen to make it perfectly horizontal, and they should meet in the middle. Then you can go ahead and click the line button again, and we just want to make sure they're sitting on top of our little pegs that we drew. So let's just drag them down or up if you need to, so that they're sitting right on top of those. Okay. Then we're going to leave a little space here, so instead of connecting right to this line on the right side to make the right edge, we're going to leave a little space. I'm going to go over and up just a little bit and start there so we can make a rounded corner there. And we're going to draw this all the way to the top of our case. So I will start right here, draw straight up quite a ways, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly vertical. Then if you need to, again, you can click the line button at the top to adjust it. Don't adjust the angle at all, but just if you need to move it around at all, you can move it closer or further away from this line here to leave room for our rounded corner. Like so. And this is about as tall as I made it. I might have made it a little too tall. We want it to be a good rectangle. This is like getting closer to a square. So if we go all the way across here, it's just a little too tall. So I'm going to redo that. So I'm just going to start at that same spot, go up a ways, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen. Maybe closer to about this tall is good. Again, make sure to edit your line if you need to, and then I'll do the same thing at the top here. I'll leave room for a rounded corner, so I'm just going to go up and to the left a little bit, draw towards the middle, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen to make it perfectly horizontal. Again, edit if we need to adjust it at all. Again, leaving room for our corner there, like so. Now let's go ahead and make our rounded corners. So I'll just start on the top right here, and I'm just going to essentially connect one line to the other in a nice curved motion, hold it down until it turns perfectly smooth. Then you can click this edit arc button at the top to adjust it to kind of make the curve nice and smooth, connect it nicely to both sides, like so. And then if there's any little bits that kind of like overlapped weird, you can use your eraser tool, which I also have set to the monoline brush, and I just kind of clean them up. Sometimes they don't always connect perfectly, but when you zoom out a good amount, it looks great. And we'll do the same thing for our bottom corner here. Curved line, hold it down, edit, and a little erasing like so. Then we're going to grab our pen tool again, and now we're going to make essentially what is the top of the bottom of our briefcase, so it's open. And so, you know, the top part where our record's going to lay and our little pieces is just going to be a horizontal line straight across here, maybe like a quarter of the way up on our shape here. So I'm going to start right about here, draw a straight line over, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen to make it perfectly horizontal. Again, edit if we need to. I went a little far outside on my line here, so I'm just going to move it in a bit, like so. I might want a little bit more room, so I'm going to actually just go up a little further. Hold it down, touch my finger to the screen. Okay, now we're going to draw the inside of the top of the case that we can see now that it's, because this part is the part that's like open and facing us. So we're going to have like an inner edge all the way around. So we're going to start on the bottom here. So a little ways in from this corner, I'm going to go over to the left a good amount and up just a teeny bit so that we have a very, very skinny section on the bottom here. So right about here, I will start, draw a line towards the center, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen. So a very thin space like this. Then on the right side here, we'll leave a little bit of room for a small rounded corner. We'll draw up along the side, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly vertical, and then stopping a good ways from the top to again leave room for our rounded corner. So we'll round the corner there, and then we'll start probably right about here to make our next horizontal line. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. And now I need to move it over just a little bit this way to get a better space there for my corner. So now we will round the corner here. Hold it down, and around the corner at the bottom. And if your corner ever just gets way off, you might just need to redo it. There's only so much editing that you can do to it to line it up better if the initial shape was way off. But that looks good. So that is like the top of our case that we can see that's open. So now we can kind of start adding all the details. Okay, so one detail that we can add directly to this layer with our symmetry turned on is like a little kind of piece in the corner here like this that's made of metal. So that will be a different color. So we'll just do that the same way that we've been doing everything. So I'll start right about here, a good ways from the corner, draw a vertical line, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen, about this high, leaving room for our corner to round. So I'll start maybe here to go back, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen, and around the corner. Okay, then let's go ahead and draw the buckle on the bottom part here. So again, this line that goes all the way to the edge is the cutoff of where our bottom piece starts. So I'm going to start right on that line. I'm going to again draw a little ways from the center, draw a line, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen. They're way too far apart, so I'm just going to click my line button at the top and bring them together a little bit. So maybe about this wide. Again, leave room for a rounded corner and make our line across the bottom here. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. Make our rounded corner. And we're just going to kind of mirror that shape inside. So inside we'll draw another one, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen, another horizontal one, and a rounded corner. Okay, and then we'll make the matching buckle piece at the top that it connects to. So at the top, again, just kind of right to the right of the center line a little bit. I will make a slightly angled line going this way, hold it down till it turns perfectly straight. And you can touch your finger to the screen if you want to set it to a certain angle. I might do, again, one from vertical inwards like this. Then we'll connect across the top in a horizontal line. Okay, and then inside we'll do just a little tiny rectangle. So I'll start right here, kind of inside from this top line and make a small vertical line this way. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen, and then connect across the bottom. Touch your finger to the screen. And that is the little buckle piece that buckles into our buckle at the front. So this is on the top, this part's on the bottom. Okay, now we can kind of make the rest of our details. So we're going to make some little patches right here that are going to be rounded rectangles. But we're going to use Symmetry to do it, and we're going to use Symmetry to just draw one of them, and then we will place them on our canvas where they need to be. So then we will draw like our record that's sitting on the thing over here, our little dial over here, and then the little scratcher thing that, you know, reads the record. We'll make that as well. So all that we will make on new layers. So let's go to our layer menu, add a new layer. The first thing that we'll do is make the little patches that are going to go on the front. So again, we'll use Symmetry for this. So let's go ahead and turn on Symmetry on this layer. So click on this layer, turn on Drawing Assist, and we are going to move the Symmetry line to do this. So we'll go to our gear icon, under Canvas, click to edit the drawing guide. Just drag this blue dot over a good amount until we're kind of like centered in this right section here. So if we draw our patch right on this Symmetry line, it'll be kind of centered in that little space there. Then go ahead and click Done. So then if we zoom in here, I'm just going to start a little ways from the top and over a little ways right about here. Make a nice horizontal line going over, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. I'm going to click the line button to edit it and just move it a little closer together so it's not as long, and then up a little bit as well to give us a little more space. Okay, then we'll leave room for a rounded corner again. So vertical line, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen, leave room for a rounded corner. To make our next horizontal line, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen, and now we'll make our rounded corners. Okay, so there's our one patch there. I am just going to click my arrow tool and move it up a little bit so it's a little more centered in this area. And you can also resize it if you need to. So on uniform or freeform, you can resize it a little bit. We don't want to do too much resizing because it'll mess up our lines, the thickness of them, and we want them all to be like the same thickness, but I might make mine just a little shorter from left to right. And again, just kind of place it right in this area over here. Then once we like the way that looks, we'll go to our layer menu, make a duplicate of this layer. So slide to the left and hit duplicate. Click our arrow tool, make sure the snapping is turned on in the bottom left, and we'll drag it over, keeping it on these blue horizontal lines. That shows that it's directly lined up with our original one. And then again, just place it over here nicely where there's like a good amount of space between our buckle and our other little metal piece on the left there, like so. Then we are going to make our little dial on the right side here. We'll do that again on a new layer. So let's go to our layer menu, add a new layer, click on it and turn on Drawing Assist. And we can just leave our Symmetry line where it is, and we'll use it, and we'll just move our dial over when we're done. But we are going to use Symmetry again. Essentially, just a little bit to the right of our Symmetry line, I will make a short vertical line. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly vertical. Go out a little bit from that, no rounded corners or anything, no space, just straight out to the right. Draw a horizontal line, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen, make sure it's meeting up nicely with the top of these other two lines. If it's not, just edit your line to move it around. Then on this side, we'll make another vertical line, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen, and another horizontal line across. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. Then we're just going to make some little ridges in it, so some more vertical lines. So I'll start a little ways from the center here, make a vertical line, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen. Try to make about the same distance from that, and make another one, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. I might click Edit Line and just move it out a little bit, like so that the spaces look pretty even all the way across. Okay, so that's our little dial. So I do want it to be a little further to the right so we have more room on the left for our record and the needle. So I'll just click my arrow tool and move it on over to the right a little bit, just making sure it's still meeting up with our baselines there. Oh, and these are the wrong baselines. We're actually going to meet up with this longer line. So arrow tool, I'll go down a little bit. So we're going to meet up with this line here our one that meets the edge on the right. Okay, so then again, this is why we're on a separate layer. We'll go back through and erase some of these lines that overlap in a little bit when we have everything else laid out. But yes, everything's going to be sitting on this longer line because that is the top of the bottom of our case. So now let's go ahead and make the record. So to do that, we're just going to move our symmetry line again. So let's first go to our layer menu, click to add a new layer, click on it and turn on Drawing Assist. Go to our gear icon, under Canvas, click to edit the drawing guide and move it on over to the left side here, somewhere maybe around where this left patch is. Oh, again, we can move everything when we're done, but we just kind of want to roughly place it over here. Go ahead and click done, and then we can draw our stuff. So first is going to be the needle that our record sits on, or the little peg that it sits on in the center. So just a little bit to the right of our symmetry line on our longer baseline here, so the one on the bottom of these two, just a little bit to the right of center, I'm going to draw a vertical line, a good amount, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen to make it perfectly vertical, maybe somewhere about like this. Then at the top, to connect it, we're just going to draw a line angled to the center, so from right here up to the center a little bit to make like a little point. Hold it down. Click your line button if you need to adjust it at all to make sure it meets up nicely on the top and on the sides, like so. Okay, so that's the little peg that it will sit on. We can adjust it in a moment if we need to. It might be a little too tall. But now we're going to make the record, so let's make that on a new layer. So layer menu, add a new layer, click on it, turn on Drawing Assist, and we're going to make a nice long record here. So I'm just going to start, you know, a good ways from my center line. Maybe like over here, you know, because it's going to obviously double in size from left to right from however far we start from our center line. So maybe we'll start right about here, draw a line to the middle, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen. I want it quite a bit longer than that, so let's just try that again. I'll go further out, draw a line to the center, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen. That looks pretty good. I do want it to stick out on the left side a little bit, but I think that's good. Then we'll just draw the thickness of it. So on the right side, we'll just draw a small vertical line, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. Pretty small because it's very thin, but we do want to see it a little bit. So then from there, we'll go back to the middle, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. Adjust it if you need to at all, so everything meets up nicely. Like so. So that is our record. So again, it's on its own layer, so if you need to, with your arrow tool on freeform or uniform, you can change the size a little bit. I might make mine a little bit longer, and then just kind of recenter it with my needle here as best as I can, like so. And then we want to place it just a little ways from the top of our bottom case, so maybe right about here is good, so there's not that much room in between them. So it's sitting pretty close, but then our little peg is a little too high. So I'm going to go back to that layer, my peg layer, arrow tool. I am going to, on freeform, just move it down a little bit in both directions, kind of skinnier and shorter, and then just kind of replace it there. I might even drag it down a teeny bit more and just erase what's on the bottom here that's sticking out. So right about there is good. Also, while we're on this peg layer, I am just going to zoom in here and erase the part that's inside the record, because the record will overlap with that, so it won't be showing there. So that's just since we're on that layer anyway, I went ahead and did that. Okay, lastly is our little needle that reads the record. We're going to draw that. So that we're going to do on a new layer again. So go to our layer menu, add a new layer, anywhere in here is fine. No drawing assist this time. We are just going to strictly draw straight vertical and horizontal lines to get this done. So I am going to start on the right side of my record here, kind of inside it. So right here will be the left side of the base of my needle that's going to sit like right here. So right inside here, I'm just going to first draw a vertical line, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen. Just a good size, maybe about like this, just a little taller than the record. From there, we'll go over a good amount horizontally, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. About this long is good. I will just click my line button to line them up better. and then draw down to our base again. Oh, and again, I started on the wrong base. So let's do that again. I'm going to start at the right base this time, the lower of the two lines here. So again, inside the record of it, vertical line, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. Go across a ways, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen, and down to the bottom line again, touch your finger to the screen. Okay. Then we're going to do a similar thing kind of on our record here, like in the middle of this left side here. Somewhere around there, I'm going to draw a short vertical line up, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen, go over a ways, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen, down, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen. So this is the part that like houses the needle that reads the record, but the needle's in the record, so we won't see that. So this is just the little piece that sits on top of it. So then from here, we're going to go like a little left of the center of this piece. So just kind of eyeball it. So a little ways from the left side, draw a straight line up, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. So this is going to kind of come back over and connect to our base. So just make sure it's a good amount taller than this base is that we drew. So then we'll just go over a good ways, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. You know, again, a little further than the middle of the base piece. So just a little ways from the right side. And then we will draw that down to connect to our base. Hold it down and touch your finger to the screen. And then I kind of did a little whoopsie here. I should have adjusted this line when I drew it, but I didn't. So I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of erasing there to kind of clean it up a little bit better. Same thing on this one. Okay, then we'll just kind of mirror that for the little inner piece. So we'll just go over from this a ways, straight up, inside, leaving a space there. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen, draw over. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. Edit the line if you need to, and then we'll just draw back to the base. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. So that is the little piece that like sits on the record and reads it. So that is also the last piece that we're going to draw on here. So now we just need to do a bunch of erasing, and then we can merge all the lines together and fill them in with our colors. So if you need to make any adjustments, go ahead and do so. So everything should be on separate layers. So like if you need to move this piece around, go ahead and like move it to the right, move it to the left, whatever. Just make sure that your lines are always staying connected to each other so that when we go to merge them all together, there's no gaps. And we also don't want them to overlap at all. So if you move anything around, just make sure to either erase any overlapping pieces or just reline them up better. So do whatever you need to do if you want to move anything around or resize anything. I think I like the way everything looks. I might move this piece to the right just a little bit so that we are covering a little bit more real estate on the right side here next to our little knob. But otherwise, I think everything looks good. So I'm just going to go through and start erasing. So first things first, let's just go ahead and turn off our symmetry line. So on the gear icon, let's just go under canvas, turn off the drawing guide. And then the most important thing is that all these layers that say assisted still have drawing assist turned on, and we might not want that for some. So for example, let's go back to our case layer, the main case layer. Click on that layer and turn off drawing assist. We're going to be doing quite a bit of erasing here. So make sure that's turned off, grab our eraser, and we will just kind of get to it. So like I'll start on the left here, wherever this record is overlapping, we're going to erase any lines inside it. Okay. Let's see where this needle's overlapping. We'll erase just the top line. We want to keep the bottom line where it's connected. Same thing here. We'll erase the top line. Everything is connected to this bottom line of these two lines. So we want to keep everything on that one and erase all of this top line though that's showing. So same thing in this button here. Okay, so for the most part that's good. I think the only other thing that's overlapping is that the record overlaps with our needle housing that we drew. So we need to go back to our needle housing layer. Drawing assist is not turned on anyway, so we just need to erase this little bit showing there. And then otherwise I think everything else looks good. Nothing's overlapping that shouldn't be. And all of our lines are touching and stuff. One thing before we merge everything is to just make sure that this bottom line is nice and long. we wanted to extend a good amount past our record player on both sides so that we can draw our records in the background and not have them like falling off the edge here. So make sure to lengthen that if you need to. So now we can merge all of our layers together so they're all on one layer. So sometimes what I like to do is I will group them all together. I'll select one, I'll slide right on all the others so they're all selected, and then I'll click group. I'll minimize the group, I'll duplicate it, and then I will flatten the new group. So now the new group that I flattened is all of my lines all on one layer, but this group has them all separated. So if I ever wanted to go back and make any adjustments to any of my pieces, I could do so with this old group. Then I just kind of turn it off so that we don't see it anymore, but it does waste a lot of layers. So if you don't have a lot of layers available, it's best to just merge all the layers together onto one layer without duplicating this group. But that's a good thing to do if you ever need to. If you have everything you like, but you want to merge them together, you can save kind of a copy of them separated as well. So I will just go ahead and delete the group. I'm good with just my outline layer. But now to get all of our colors filled in, we're going to click on this layer and set it to a reference. Add a new layer, drag the new layer below our reference layer. And this is where we'll do all of our coloring. And it will just basically use our lines as like a coloring page to drag and drop color into. So let's just start with our first color on our second row, the kind of brighter red. This is going to go in the outline. So I'm just going to drag and drop it into the outline. Click this continue filling button at the top. And we just kind of, obviously where these lines break, we still need to fill in like between them. So like this one's still red. This one is still red. This one is still red. If you ever accidentally touch on the line, make sure to undo it, because if you zoom in really far, you can see that it colored red behind my line, and I don't want that. It makes things harder to fill in potentially, and it just adds like a weird kind of glow around everything. So if you accidentally touch a line, just make sure to undo it before moving on. So also with this lighter red color is going to be this main bottom box as well. Then we're going to switch to our darker color, the second one on the second row, so the next one in line. We'll drag and drop it into the main color area, and including all this other stuff that got broken off. So this piece, the piece under the record on both sides as well. And it is also the color for these two little patches. Okay, then we'll go to our next color, the third one on the second row. And we still have color drop turned on, so we can just kind of tap into everything else as well. So we can just continue tapping. So this is for the two pegs and the bottom of our dial. Then the last color, the fourth one on the second row, the darkest one, is going to be for this base, this piece, and the pieces on the top of the button. So that's a darker red still. Okay, next up is our gold. So let's grab our gold color, the first one on the last row, and that is going to be for this top, for all of our metal pieces basically. So the buckle piece on the top, the arm of our little needle thing, the little peg that our record sits on, this thing, this buckle in the front, the other piece here. Those are all of our metal pieces. And then lastly, our record color, the second one on the bottom row, the dark gray, will fill in for our record. So then that is it for all of our coloring and everything. Okay, so now we're going to draw like the music notes and everything over here. And then we will draw the little kind of faded details in the background, which is like a couple of records sitting back there and a plant on the right side. So let's first draw the music notes. So let's go to our layer menu, add a new layer on our layer menu. Grab our white color, the third one on the bottom row, same monoline brush, and we are just going to draw some fun music notes. So same size for our brush, 20%, and I'm just going to kind of start up here and make a straight vertical line, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen to make it perfectly vertical. I'm going to go over and up at a slight angle, hold it down, another vertical line, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen. About the same length as the other one, so not quite like reaching the same point, but just like the same length, so maybe about like that. And then we'll make the little circular pieces on them, like so. So that's our one music note, and then we'll go to our layer menu, make a new layer to make a single music note. So we'll draw another vertical line, hold it down, touch our finger to the screen, about the same size as the other one. We'll make our little circle on the bottom left. And then we'll make a little tail on it. So from the top, we'll just kind of make a little curvy tail. Like so. So now we have our two notes, so we can just kind of duplicate them and move them around. So I'll just make like another duplicate of my single note. I'll kind of rotate it even, maybe place it up here. I'll make a duplicate of my double note. Maybe kind of rotate it also and kind of place it up here. And some of them can go outside even, so let's make some more of our single notes. And they can even go like on the outside like this. And at the top. They kind of look like they're coming from our record. So just kind of a good smattering of them. And just kind of move them around as you see fit. So I'm just kind of trying to space them out pretty similarly, but I did all those. Let's maybe do one more single one on the right side here, like so, to just kind of round it out. So something about like that. Then I'll go to my layer menu and snap them all together. So every single one of my music notes all on the same layer. Then we're going to make them look a little bit faded by clicking the N on this layer to open up our options and dragging the opacity down a little bit to maybe like 75%, just to make them look a little bit more faded into our picture. Okay, and then now we're just going to draw the details in the background. So that is going to be, again, like two records and then a plant on the right side. So let's go to our layer menu, add a new layer. Let's go ahead and drag it below all the layers that we have so far. Grab our black color again, the second one on the top row. Same monoline brush at 20%. And we'll first draw our records on the left here. So I'm just going to start a little bit inside my bottom line, but definitely outside my record player. Make a nice tall vertical line going above our record player in the back. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly vertical. So maybe about like this. Make sure it's meeting up nicely with our bottom line, or just adjust it and move it around if you need to. Then we'll go across the top. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly vertical, and just try to make it like a similar length as our first line so it looks kind of like squarish. So maybe about like this long. Then we'll draw down to our baseline. And I know we made a few gaps in the baseline, so if you have a gap there, maybe just go back and extend your line a little bit longer on the top so that you can meet up better with our baseline here. But that's our one record, so now we'll duplicate it to get another. So go to our layer menu, click on this layer, slide to the left and hit duplicate, arrow tool, and we'll just move it to the right, keeping it in line, like so. Make sure they're lined up nicely at the top. So if you need to go back and just readjust them, go ahead and do so. Okay, then we just need to erase the inside line for our leftmost record. So this bottom layer on our layer menu, eraser tool, and we'll just erase this other vertical line on the right, including across the bottom here, like so. So those are our two records in the background. Then we're just going to make our plant, and we can make that on a new layer. So let's go to our layer menu, add a new layer, pen tool again, same brush, same size, same color, and we'll again just kind of start on the baseline somewhere over here, and I'm just going to make a vase. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to make a nice quick line going like this. I'll do it a little bit faster this time. Something like that. Just the right side, we'll see. So then for the left side, let's just go over a bit and just make sure it goes underneath our record player there. So I'll just kind of make the littlest bit of like where the baseline would start going up there. And then across the top here, we'll just make a horizontal line to behind the record player. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly horizontal. Make sure it lines up nicely. So that's our vase. This left side line I made a little too close. So I'm just going to go back and kind of redraw that a little further away there so it looks a little bit more symmetrical there. Then from the top of our vase here, we'll just have some leaves coming out. So I'm just going to make some quick stems. So I'll make one like here. That's a little too long. That's better. I'll make like a shorter one to the right. And one going up and to the left a little bit as well. Like so. Then I'll just make a leaf on the end of each one. So a nice good size leaf just this way and this way. Like so. Try to draw pretty quickly to get some nice smooth lines. So something just like this, make as many or as few as you would like. I might make another one just kind of in the center that's a little shorter. And then it feels kind of weird to not have any going off the left. I could maybe like pretend that there's one here. I think 4 is good actually. I kind of like the way that that looks. So I will just go ahead and make this whole thing just a little bit smaller though, so it's good we're on a different layer. On uniform, I'm just going to downsize the whole thing a little bit. So if you need to, go ahead and adjust the size. If you don't, that's totally fine. And then to make these kind of look more in the background, because we want our record player to be the main focus with all of its color and everything, we will just go to our layer menu, merge all of these 3 back layers together. So our plant and our 2 records all on one layer. Click the N to open up the options and drag the opacity down a good amount to like 50% to get a nice faded look to them. Maybe even a little bit more. Let's go to like 40. I think that looks good. So that being said, that is it for our drawing today. So I hope you had fun. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more tutorials from me in the future. Again, if you want to check out my Patreon for some exclusive tutorials, I have that linked in the description below. If you would like to share your drawing on Instagram, I would love to see it, so go ahead and post it and then tag me so that I can check it out. While you're there, go ahead and give me a follow so that you can see what I'm working on next. Thanks for watching!